Have you read your bio?
No,
Haven't
I
you?
refuse to read the bio because I would just be crazed.
Just talking to Harrison Ford, I said, have you read your bio? This is interesting.
And I said,
because
no.
No, you haven't. Why
No.
not?
Because I don't know what, I don't want to know what they're saying about me.
For people
Or
who
what
may,
they've left out.
for people who may not understand what a bio is, it's something that the journalists and other
It's your
people interviewers.
page, it's your
Yeah.
life on 2 pages of paper.
That's
They're
right.
bound to leave out the best
The
parts.
studio puts out what they want us to know about you.
Yeah.
They told us that you were a carpenter for a couple of years. Is that true?
Yes.
You were.
Yeah. For
Was it a thing where you just said, this is not working out, I got to get away and reorder things? That's the impression I get. Is that
yeah,
it?
there was a lot of that.
Yeah.
And there were mouths to be fed. And the acting business was not feeding them. And I had my own house, which I wanted to remodel. And carpentry was really the only thing I had the clothes for. I mean, I had to find another profession. I'd been in acting for about 6 years. And I wasn't really getting anywhere. I was stuck in featured roles. And I needed to get away and pull myself back together.
George Lucas is becoming known as a phenomenon now as a result of the success of Star Wars and, of course, American Graffiti. But you have to have a couple of that kind of successes before you become a phenomenon, I guess.
Yeah.
Does he create the kind of atmosphere with those of you who have worked with him more than once that is conducive?
There's a real supportive atmosphere around George. He's not so much involved in, his scripts are very clear, at least they are to me. I mean, you know what part you play in the whole piece from reading the script. He creates characters that have a real clear line to them. Mm-hmm. It's not as if you have to bring in a lot of things, but your ideas are he's very accepting of ideas and suggestions, and he likes to work in an atmosphere where everybody is participating. And that's a lot of fun.
Much of the mood and atmosphere of Star Wars, however, it was created by special effects people and must have been created away from the scenes in which you were involved. Did you get a feeling of what this was going to be? Did you have a feeling of the excitement that was coming?
No, I mean, nobody had any idea of what it was going to really be. I mean, you could read that on paper, but you couldn't.
It's a long way from the film.
Experience, yeah. It doesn't read as well as it looks.
As it plays.
Yeah.
It's interesting because it has been described as a runaway hit now, and it is that. I think much. As a matter of fact, I talked to someone who said the board of directors saw it, and well, it's interesting. They didn't know quite how to make it, and apparently the board of directors of 20th Century Fox is as stunned as some other people that the public is accepting it in just a phenomenal way.
Well, I mean, nobody wants to predict that kind of success and then find out that they're wrong. Mm-hmm. It's always better to hang back a little bit and say, well, we'll see what happens.
Do you have any explanation for it? For why this really? Because
I do. I think it's because it is. I think this movie is about what movies always were about, which is an entertainment. I mean, in the 60s, it seems people went to movies because they were embarrassed at not reading. And that's the function movies took on for a while, kind of. But now, the atmosphere in this country seems to call for kinds of movies like we had in the 30s, uplifting kind of. It's the new soft core. There's a real interest in the better parts of human nature. This film is very unpretentious. It doesn't pander to well-known audience attitudes and soft spots.
It's interesting, people are talking about this film in the same breath as comic books all the time. You hear that comparison frequently. Is that an apt one?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's not something you can consider as an actor. I mean, you have to wipe your slate clean of that kind of stuff and just go and do your job.
What does this do for you, Harrison, as a young actor, to have this kind of a hit on your hands, but a highly stylized one? Obviously, it's good for you, but does it type you in some people's minds?
Well, I haven't seen that yet, but I have had little chance to see very much of any reaction from it. We're only 2 weeks out now.
It's such a terribly sudden reaction.
Yeah.
Nobody understood or had the feeling that this was what was going to take place.
Well, no, not this big.
What do you do with this now, as an actor who has a plan, has a career to consider?
Yeah.
Do you talk to producers? Do you wait for the offers to come to you and then?
Hey, I'm here. No, I'm interested in things, but I don't have the prerogatives of power to initiate.
Might this start to give you that,
Yeah,
being in this kind of
might.
picture? Is that what you're looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to getting a good job with people who are interested in doing their best and working on a project that's about something. That's all.
You've worked in our area, haven't you? In the Midwest, in Minnesota, Wisconsin area.
Well, I did summer stock in Wisconsin just before I came out here. One season of summer stock.
Was that a good training ground for motion pictures, or is it just so different that it?
Well, yeah, sure. It's a good. Everything is good for motion pictures. Whatever you put into yourself, eventually it turns out to have some utility. And of course, the stage is a wonderful preparation for an actor. Yeah.
Where do you? I said where do you go now just a few moments ago, but an actor's lot is not. I talked to George Siegel not too long ago, and he said, "Would you believe I don't know what I'm going to do next? Here's one of the most successful actors in the business. How do you put together a career with that kind of unpredictability in this business? You said before you went to carpentry because you had mouths to feed.
Yeah.
It's a difficult. Everybody says, yeah, I guess it is difficult, but an actor's life is pretty glamorous.
It is?
You have discovered it isn't.
No, it's not glamorous. Or at least I found that I have no taste for glamour. It doesn't get me off. What I like is work. The work.
How do you keep working now? Just keep searching for parts, or do you go to do some more summer stock? Do you do?
No, I have. I'm probably in a financial position to be able to do some theater, which I'd very much like to do. But I'm reading scripts now.
Any thoughts at direction, at other areas of the film
Not
industry?
at this point in my life.
Any plans at all? I mean, usually a career is a step-by-step thing, and people like to work with certain directors. For instance, you've done 2 pictures with George Lucas. Any desires in that direction?
I would hate to list them for fear of leaving somebody out. I mean, there are a lot of people I'd like to work with. There are a lot of competent, good people in this business. I'd like to work with them all.
Any thoughts about what Star Wars is likely to do now? You said none of us expected it, none of us had a feeling for it. A lot of it has to do with the special effects people, the other people on the picture that are not the people we're talking to on interviews like this. A lot of that is out of the hands of the actor, isn't it?
Yeah, but when you have confidence in a director like George, you don't worry about that.
Do you think he's done American Graffiti now? He's done Star Wars. He's done other pictures too.
Yeah.
But these are the 2 runaway hits. Puts him into a category with the Francis Ford Coppola's, the young people who are really making it now. Is that a different genre than some of the old movie makers?
I don't think so. They're competent professionals who want to do things their own way, and they have enough force of conviction and creative instincts to do good things. There are a lot of people like that around.
There are going to be a lot of people watching this movie and seeing Harrison Ford and saying, I want to watch him in something else, and I'm sure we will be before too long. Thank you
very much. It's a pleasure.
The name of the motion picture, of course, is Star Wars. There's a lady I know. So we were. I don't know what you were doing. I thought you were...
Yes, I well remember her. She was my first victim.
How's it going?
Yeah.
Doubtless you remember all of the names and everything is perfectly clear to you at this point. I have fire sale left. Have you done fire sale?
They're not here yet, are they?
Who's in fire sale?
Alan
Sid Caesar and
Arkin,
Alan.
Sid Caesar, Rob Reiner. I don't think Rob
Reiner's
Reiner's
not
going to
going
be
to be
here.
here.
Yeah, I did all of them. Other side.
Lori.